Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for checking out this video. This morning I have an overview for you of the 36-inch stainless steel Blackstone griddle. I picked this up about a year ago and have been using it fairly regularly. I just wanted to go over my experience with using it and whether or not I recommend buying it. So it is great to have 36 inches of griddle top. You can cook an entire meal on there. And I've used that for an entire breakfast. You can have your hash browns, your eggs, your bacon all on one surface. Pretty sweet. But that's about where the good stuff ended for me. So the first issue I want to go through, which is more of my ignorance than the actual making of the griddle, is that, as you can see, there are spots on the top where the seasoning has come off because water's gotten underneath it and popped off that seasoning. And that exposes the metal, and if you have any moisture where you live, you're going to get rust on there. And so I had some rusty spots on my top that were not good to cook on. And the reason that that happened was that the idea that I got from researching this was that it didn't matter what oil you used to seal it the first time, to season it. It does matter. You need to use a flax oil or something that bonds well to metal, and Blackstone says it themselves. I just didn't apparently watch their video, which was kind of a mistake. So I used canola oil the first time, and that's not a good oil to use. So be sure to use, if you do pick one of these up, be sure to use the right oil, and you'll get a much better seasoned surface on top. So there were unfortunately also some issues with the griddle itself. So the front and back panels, the front panel where the knobs are, and then the matching back panel, tend to warp quite a bit when under heat. They'll warp up to an inch. They'll warp in and out on the bottom, and they'll warp upward. And this is kind of a red flag for me, considering that there's a large, heavy, potentially hot griddle sitting on top of this. So better metal should have been used there. It's just a quality issue with the thickness of the metal. There are also some issues with the griddle top. Instead of using thicker rolled steel, they ended up putting angle iron or angle steel on the bottom to help, I believe, to help dissipate the heat more evenly. And you can see them right there as I go by. There's some shots of the warping. But anyway, the weld spots on those bottom angles will actually show up through the top of the griddle because they were just, I'm assuming they were just way too deep when they welded them on, and so you get bumps on the top of your griddle. This happened the second time I seasoned it. Much more obvious if you're scrubbing it or if you heat it up, and so you'll get actual unevenness in your griddle because of those plates. So thicker steel should have been used, and that would have helped that out quite a bit. Another issue, which is really common, that I heard quite a bit, was that this model has issues with grease dripping, running up the griddle top and then dripping out on the ground. And that's definitely the case. It'll do that unless you prop one end up. So if you prop the left end up, it'll run better, but that's just kind of a pain and can be kind of unsafe too. So they do have a newer model of this, like I mentioned, and I think that they've addressed some of these. If you've used that newer model, let me know in the comments below what you think, if they've taken care of these problems or not. I'd be really curious to know. So that's my review of this. I really tried to like it. Unfortunately, there are just too many issues with the make and the model. So also let me go over real quick a common issue that owners of this griddle reported having, and I actually ran into it a couple times too. And the issue is that there's not enough heat on the griddle top all of a sudden. You just don't get the heat with all the burners on. It's like 300 degrees, which is not hot enough to cook anything too quickly. And what happens is, if you turn the gas canister off before you turn the burners off, you will send it into protective mode, and it'll shut down that gas flow, I think, in the regulator. And so it's an easy fix. All you do is you take the canister off, let it sit for a bit, put it back on, and voila, you'll have a nice hot griddle again. So please give me a like for this video if you got anything out of it. I really appreciate it. It helps me out. And if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I'll let you know whenever I put out a new video. Thanks for watching.